At some point in your childhood, Alice in Wonderland probably snuck its surreal little way into your heart. And for the last 6 years, we've been impatiently tapping our foot for Disney to expound upon the wonderfully trippy version Tim Burton created in 2010. Finally, the wait is over, and Alice, the Hatter, the Red Queen, and more are set to return in Alice Through the Looking Glass. I'm Kylie Mar with Cinematica, and today we're attempting to logically explain this kooky tale of Underland. Are you a diehard fan? Just wondering if it's worth a watch? We've got something for everyone as we count down the 107 facts you should know about Alice Through the Looking Glass. So let's get started. Number 1. Alice Through the Looking Glass will be released on May 27, 2016, 6 years after the original live-action film Alice in Wonderland. Number 2. At least in purely capitalist terms, a sequel makes perfect sense. Alice in Wonderland made $1 billion at the box office, $320 million in the US alone, and that pales in comparison to the overseas take of $690 million. Number 3. Nobody expected the first movie would make as much as it did. The team behind the film wanted to make it about female empowerment, but they unfortunately received a lot of pushback. Number 4. On top of that, there was never really supposed to be a sequel. Producer Suzanne Todd said they had never planned to make a second movie and that they were lucky to have even been able to make the first. Number 5. In a refreshing reversal of seemingly Hollywood norms, especially when billion-dollar grossing films are involved, Todd has also stated the team didn't want to make a sequel just for the sake of the sequel. Say what? Number 6. The other major part of the holdup was director Tim Burton, who did not want to continue his duties on the franchise and had no interest in a sequel from the get-go. Number 7. Burton's extreme reluctance was rooted in the formidable difficulty of making the film. A year and a half was spent on the first movie script alone. Number 8. And so, in May 2013, 3 years after the film's premiere, Disney announced that James Bobin would direct the sequel. Number 9. While Burton didn't take the reins as director, he stayed on as a producer, so the film definitely still looks Burtonian. Number 10. Don't be skeptical about Bobin, though. Chances are he's had a hand in something you dearly love, like the 2011 Muppets movie, or the Ali G Show, or the totally objectively spectacular show Flight of the Conchords. Number 11. Bobin was in the post-production for Muppets Most Wanted when Disney approached him about Alice. Disney does not waste time, people. Number 12. Bobin's enthusiasm for the project stems from the fact that he's always loved Alice and Lewis Carroll's tone and intelligence. According to Bobin, literally everyone in England owns a copy of Carroll's infamous story, and every child grows up with it. Number 13. Bobin views Carroll as a satirist, a social commentator satirizing Victorian society. Bobin says this singularly British sense of humor connects Carroll to Monty Python, and he was eager to extrapolate upon it more than Burton did. Number 14. When Bobin approached Burton for advice on the film, Burton meant to warn him away by saying, honestly, it's not easy, it's incredibly hard. Yet, this somehow got Bobin even more excited to make the film. Number 15. Mia Wasikowska, who plays Alice, said that Burton's and Bobin's styles are completely different. Burton articulates things in a visual way, whereas Bobin incites more discussion and pushes an emotional perspective. Number 16. Linda Wolverton, who wrote the script for the first film, returned as the screenwriter for Through the Looking Glass. Number 17. Wolverton has probably written even more things you cherish dearly. Don't believe me? She wrote Beauty and the Beast, The Lion King, and Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey, appealing to a select variety of 90s kids there like me, and had a hand in Mulan and Aladdin. See? Told you. Number 18. Wolverton's career had inspiringly humble beginnings. She got her start staging children's plays in shopping malls, and she opened a children's theater. And as she progressed from a CBS secretary to a children's novel writer to a substitute teacher to a Muppet Babies writer, her agent said she wasn't ready to work at Disney. Number 19. Wolverton makes a point to include strong female protagonists in her films, and both Alice and Belle exemplify this. She said that the whole point of Alice's character is to show people, especially women, that you have to forge your own path. You can't go down anybody else's road. It's your dream, it's your life. You don't have to be told by other people what to make of yourself. You decide. You guys, I think I have a new hero. Number 20. When writing the part of Alice, Wolverton did extensive research on how young Victorian girls were supposed to behave, and then wrote Alice as exactly the opposite. Number 21. This movie is not the only Through the Looking Glass movie. In 1987, an animated movie came out with the same title. Mr. T starred as the effing Jabberwock, people. Feel free to pause this and go watch that movie because it's something special. Don't worry, I'll be here waiting when you're done. Number 22. Alice Through the Looking Glass is based loosely on the events of two of Carroll's novels, Through the Looking Glass, obviously, and What Alice Found There. Ostensibly, we'll find out what she found. Number 23. The first novel features a lot of characters and plot points based on a deck of cards. Through the Looking Glass and what Alice found there shift that emphasis to chess. In fact, the latter novel is only 8 chapters long because a chessboard is 8 squares across. Number 24. Bobin was thrilled to adapt the story but never meant to be Lewis Carroll's story at all. Though he loves the novel, he says a straight conversion to the big screen wouldn't work since it's such a strange narrative. Number 25. Despite all this talk of loose interpretation, Alice Through the Looking Glass pulls more direct quotes from the source material than Alice in Wonderland did. So it's truer to the novel yet different at the same time. Normally, none of this would make sense, but this is Underland we're talking about. Number 26. According to Todd, the movie's story was an issue early on, but once everyone decided to take on the concept of time, the film started coming together. But more on that time thing later. Ooh, cliffhanger. Number 27. This movie takes place 3 years after the first left off. By contrast, the novel's Alice only waits 6 months to go back to Wonderland. Number 28. Actually, while we're on the subject, in these films, Wonderland isn't called Wonderland at all. Instead, it's named Underland. According to Wolverton, Alice misheard the word Underland and thought they said Wonderland. So, to sum up, the title of the first film is a lie. Surprise, Disney is lying to you. Number 29. The story in Alice Through the Looking Glass is a continuation of the first film. And while it's a story about what happens next, it's also a story about what happened before. According to Bobin, it's a prequel and a sequel. Number 30. Of course, time travel is behind this apparent logical discrepancy. Alice and the Underland gang are able to travel through time with the use of a magical device called the chronosphere, the snitch-like golden orb featured in all the press photos. Number 31. According to Bobin, in Underland, time is a geographical expression. You can literally travel through time. Number 32. If that sounds intense, don't worry. The movie manages to avoid Back to the Future / Terminator time travel issues since the characters can only observe and learn from the past, not alter it. Number 33. Bobin said time travel movies are nightmarishly difficult to establish a coherent sense of logic. Fortunately, he has an advantage because his movie is set in Underland, which allowed him to bend the rules a bit more than would have normally made sense. Number 34. Bobin highly praises Burton's version of Underland and kept the world consistent. Yet Burton's image was pretty doom and gloom, as he wanted Wonderland to look as though it was in decline under the Red Queen. He was heavily inspired by a World War II photo of a British family drinking tea under the war-torn skies of London.
Hey guys, what's up? Lauren Mayhew here, and we're gonna take just a quick break from the Alice Through the Looking Glass facts to let you know about a new music channel I'm hosting called Mic Drop. Now, if you guys love 107 Facts, you are gonna love this new channel because we'll have 107 facts on your favorite musicians and tons more. Check out our 107 facts about Ariana Grande. Now, back to those facts.
Number 35. However, Bobin definitely contributed some stylistic differences. In particular, he adjusted the look of Underland in order to bring it more into the Victorian realm, as well as to pay tribute to John Tenniel's original novel illustrations. Number 36. The dual Tenniel Victorian inspiration means that you can expect more actual people this time around. Bobin refers to it as human, weird, and quasi-historical. So there you have it. Underland is a human world inhabited by dodos, unicorns, and talking rabbits. Number 37. Bobin was intrigued by the literal design suggested in the book, where the world is actually falling apart around Alice. He said it would make a very intriguing art house experiment, but he wanted to create a film his 8-year-old daughter would want to watch. Darn kids ruin everything. Number 38. Along with the new visual style, the movie also has a new art director. Alice Through the Looking Glass was supervised by Oscar-winning artist Dan Henna. You may have never heard his name, but you've definitely seen his work. He was the supervising art director for a little-known trilogy of films called The Lord of the Rings. Number 39. Colleen Atwood has returned to dress the cast of Alice Through the Looking Glass. Atwood won the Academy Award in 2010 for her amazing costume designs for Alice in Wonderland. Here's hoping she repeats. Number 40. The Underland gang's all back too. Helena Bonham Carter, Anne Hathaway, Johnny Depp, Mia Wasikowska, Alan Rickman, Timothy Spall, Stephen Fry, and Michael Sheen are all returning to reprise their roles from the first film. No Crispin Glover though. We'll miss you, Crispin. Number 41. The film can be seen as something of a Harry Potter reunion. Toby Jones, Helena Bonham Carter, Timothy Spall, Francis De La Tour, Rhys Ifans, and of course Alan Rickman were all in the films at one point. Number 42. It's even something of a Les Miserables reunion, which also starred Carter Carter and Sacha Baron Cohen as antagonists. Anne Hathaway was in the film as well, but we hope she won't make us cry quite as hard here. Number 43. Plus, Depp, Bonham Carter, Rickman, Baron Cohen, and Spall all starred alongside each other in Tim Burton's Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. Number 44. Including this film, Bonham Carter and Rickman have been in a whopping 7 movies together. Burton and Bonham Carter have worked on 8 movies together, and Burton and Depp have a well-documented bromance, resulting in Through the Looking Glass being their 9th film together. Okay, so this whole film is basically Hollywood incest. We're done now. Number 45. Alice is 22 in the events of Alice Through the Looking Glass, which is 14 and a half years older than she is in the novelized version, where she's only 7 years old. Minor differences. Number 46. Through the Looking Glass begins as Alice returns home from abroad after becoming a sea captain. No wonder actress Wasikowska describes her as independent and very strong. Number 47, which is only fair considering Carol wrote the titular character on the cusp of England's suffragette movement. Bobin viewed Alice as someone who represents a new generation of women who fought for gender equality. Number 48. In the movie, Alice gets institutionalized for female hysteria. She eventually breaks out and returns to Underland. Believe it or not, female hysteria was considered to be a real disease during and long before the Victorian era. It was categorized by nervousness, hallucinations, emotional outbursts, and sexual urges. Sounds like Coachella. Depressingly enough, the disease wasn't dropped by the American Psychiatric Association until 1950. Number 49. In many ways, Alice and the Hatter are total opposites. Alice's suffragette mindset is at total odds with her mother, who wants her to stay at home and have children. On the other hand, the Hatter is a free spirit who dealt with his father's insistence that he should have a career. Number 50. The Hatter's eyes are digitally enlarged, and depending on the shot, his eyes are 10 to 15% bigger than Depp's. Perfect for insanity. Number 51. Depp's Mad Hatter has orange hair due to mercury poisoning. In the 18th and 19th centuries, mercury was used in the manufacturing of felt. Because hats were made with felt, hatters and mill workers often had mercury poisoning, which had an orange tint in Carol's time. Number 52. Mercury poisoning has also been referred to as Mad Hatter syndrome because so many hat makers came down with the illness. Number 53. The Hatter's hair appears to be Depp's own contribution. In a weirdly unsurprising character quirk, Depp paints a watercolor portrait of every character he plays in order to find his face and personality. When Depp finished his Hatter, he thought, "Oh my god, this one will get me fired!" Haha, get it? Fire? Orange, red hair? Number 54. Alice returns to Underland in Through the Looking Glass in order to save the Mad Hatter. According to Wasikowska, it becomes clear at the beginning of the movie that the Hatter is becoming more sane, so she travels back in time to help him. Number 55. The Mad Hatter's hair in the first film was made of yak hair, but it was changed for Through the Looking Glass because the yak hair was both incredibly hot and surprisingly heavy. Number 56. Another weirdly and surprisingly Depp factoid, his favorite novel isn't Alice in Wonderland, but naturally James Joyce's Finnegan's Wake. He says that he never leaves home without it. Number 57. Rhys Ifans of Spider-Man and Harry Potter fame was cast to play the Hatter's father, Zanuck Hightop, despite being 4 years younger than Depp. Number 58. Though Ifans got the role, it was initially reported that Oscar winner and renowned stage actor Mark Rylance was originally in talks for this role. Number 59. Bobin got the idea for the villainous Time from Carol's writing. In the novels, Carol makes a reference to time being a person, so Bobin picked it up and just ran with it. In the first Alice in Wonderland book, when Hatter first meets Alice, he said, "I've been stuck at this tea party since last March when Time and I quarreled." Number 60. Baron Cohen, who is playing Time in the movie, has lately only worked on movies that he's developed. However, he has worked with both Burton and Bobin before, so it's not hard to imagine why he'd make an exception. Number 61. According to Bobin, Time is an omnipotent being and also a twit. Just how you want your omnipotent beings. Half human, half clock, full twit. Number 62. Time is obviously incredibly powerful, but Bobin wanted to ensure that he was still vulnerable. He wanted Baron Cohen because no one is better at playing the confident idiot. We think that's a compliment. Number 63. It's no wonder then that Bobin wanted Baron Cohen to play the role since the very beginning. Time's character was even written with Cohen in mind. Number 64. Baron Cohen is a master of accents and voice changing, and he put his talent to use in Alice Through the Looking Glass. Time's voice is apparently mid-Atlantic German, but for a guy who's half Welsh, we would have assumed Swiss. Ha. Get it? Swiss watch. Number 65. Alice in Wonderland is famous for having a kooky cast, yet Todd said that out of all the Underlanders, Time is the kookiest of all. That's a pretty high bar. Number 66. One of the many perks of having Time be an actual person is that Alice has to literally ask permission to travel through time. Bobin loves this because it's very English. Number 67. Baron Cohen used his famous improv skills while filming the movie. Todd said, "I felt like for the rest of the cast, part of the challenge this time was trying to keep up with Sacha." Number 68. Even though Baron Cohen is best known for his political statements with his characters, Todd says not to expect anything like that in this movie, saying his comedy won't feel like Ali G and it won't feel like Borat. It feels like it fits into our world. Number 69. One cast member that apparently flourished under Baron Cohen's improvised style was Depp, who's real-life friends with the actor. The tea party scene draws from a one-take, 8.5-minute long improvisation of the Hatter and Time quarreling. Number 70. According to Bobin, this was no small feat. It was over 100 degrees on set that day, and the take literally broke and melted the camera. Number 71. Time's helpers are small clocks called seconds. All of Time's seconds are steam-powered. The minions are primarily harmless until they combine into minutes. Number 72. Bobin and his team were careful not to take the seconds into sci-fi territory. We had the artistic license to go as far as Lewis Carroll, but not go into Star Trek or Star Wars. Alas, no droids in Underland anytime soon. Number 73. Instead, Bobin kept the seconds rooted in the industrial era. When designing them, he looked at books of industrial-aged tools like wrenches, tweezers, and Allen keys. Number 74. The animation team tried to make each and every second unique, like steampunk snowflakes. For their movement, the team took inspiration from body language comedians such as Mr. Bean and Buster Keaton. Number 75. Alice Through the Looking Glass was the last film Rickman, who voices the Blue Caterpillar, worked on before he passed away. This is literally the saddest fact. Love ya, Alan. Number 76. Hathaway once described her performance as the White Queen as a cross between Debbie Harry, Greta Garbo, David Bowie, with a little bit of the work of Dan Flavin thrown in for good measure. Number 77. The Red Queen also had some interesting inspiration. Bonham Carter says that she based her performance as the Red Queen on her and Burton's then 2-year-old daughter, Nell. She said, "The Red Queen is just like a toddler because she's got a big head and she's a tyrant. Toddlers have no sympathy for any living creature." Ain't that the truth? Number 78. Carter said her favorite moment from filming was when she had to ride a horse backwards. The horse in question was blue screened, but an amazing realistic sculpture that walked. Number 79. Ever wonder how the Red Queen's head got so big? For the first film at least, Bonham Carter scenes were shot with a 4K high-def camera, then blew it up in post-production to be twice its normal size. Filmmakers likely shot in 4K because they didn't want to lose any resolution when ballooning that gigantic head. Number 80. Bonham Carter had to sit through 3 hours of makeup every day in order to transform herself into the Red Queen. She must have really loved that role in order to go through that again. Number 81. Tweedledee and Tweedledum don't actually exist anywhere in the Alice in Wonderland novel, despite appearing in both Alice in Wonderland movies. They are, however, part of Through the Looking Glass, so they'll be right at home in the sequel. Number 82. Humpty Dumpty, England's most famous egg, will be making an appearance in Alice Through the Looking Glass. Humpty is voiced by comedian John Sessions, who has appeared in Doctor Who and Filth. Number 83. Underland's terrifying polka dot kitty is actually called the Bandersnatch. The Bandersnatch doesn't physically appear in the actual Alice in Wonderland stories, though it's mentioned in Through the Looking Glass. Number 84. Actually, you probably know exactly the reference we're talking about. The infamous poem Jabberwocky is from the film's source material Through the Looking Glass and what Alice found there, as is the infamous Walrus and the Carpenter. Number 85. Actually, concept art was created for the walrus for the first film, but unfortunately those oysters are still alive and well. Wait. Number 86. The film was largely shot on a soundstage at Shepperton Studios near London, although they did use a number of real-life locations, namely the city of Gloucester and the Gloucester Docks. Number 87. The film docked 5 very conspicuous tall boats at the docks. Boaters in the area were not pleased as they were given very little notice that it would be happening and felt it would cause a lot of boat traffic disruption, although some claim many of these boaters missed the notice because they have no internet access. Number 88. One of these 5 ships, presumably Alice's, is appropriately called the Wonder. Disney Cruise Line also has a cruise ship named the Wonder. Well, the Disney Wonder, but still, you won't sneak any subliminal advertising past me, House of Mouse, though it probably doesn't help that we're blatantly pointing this out. Number 89. Despite the tip-off that a ship called the Wonder could easily give, the public believed that the movie being filmed was the next Pirates of the Caribbean movie, as they were aware that it was a Disney movie starring Depp. Number 90. If you're wondering where certain set pieces are in relation to others in Underland, you're out of luck. There's no real map to Underland. Bobin says that the world was created so broad with no limitations that a map of Underland has never been decided upon and remains ill-defined. Number 91. Whereas the first film was shot almost entirely on green screen, Alice Through the Looking Glass used more sets. They even built an entire town. Number 92. The town in question was Wits End, where the Hatter family had their shop. Bobin was inspired to build the gigantic set because he was enamored by the scale of the sets in films like Oliver and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and the world of interaction that opened up for the actors. Number 93. Furthermore, Bobin likes the sense of discipline within the geography of the set, though sometimes CG was used on the edges of the physical set world to give it scale. Number 94. Wachikowska, for one, was intrigued by the change, and it is a pretty drastic change, especially when you consider that the first movie was 90% green screen. Number 95. Alice Through the Looking Glass is Bobin's first movie with simultaneously fully animated CG characters and environments. Unfortunately, you can't hug the Cheshire Cat like you can hug Kermit. Number 96. The CG sequences were shot in front of a blue screen, not a green screen, because apparently green screens are tough to look at while on set, so for the sake of the actors, Bobin and crew decided on a blue screen. Number 97. Shooting on the blue screen had some other advantages, namely this time around the Tweedles were shot using more motion capture and the blue screen made their movements look more fluid. Number 98. Alice in Wonderland was shot in 2D and later converted to 3D. If you're wondering why Burton didn't just shoot in 3D in the first place, it's because he was so impressed with the conversion of The Nightmare Before Christmas that he decided to do the same for Alice. Just like its predecessor, Alice Through the Looking Glass was shot in 2D and then converted into 3D in post. Number 99. Disney partnered back up with Sony Pictures Imageworks to handle the visual effects of Alice Through the Looking Glass. The film is definitely in good hands, as Sony Pictures Imageworks is also working on Suicide Squad, Ghostbusters, and the still surprising Angry Birds movie. Number 100. Sony Pictures Imageworks had to deliver an impressive 2,200 visual effects for the film. The production was supervised by 5-time Oscar winner Ken Ralston. He oversaw the first film as well, so it's all old hat to him now. Get it? Old hat. Number 101. Of course, it wouldn't be an even vaguely Burton-related film without a score from Danny Elfman. The former Oingo Boingo frontman has lent his musical ear to many Burton films, including Nightmare Before Christmas. Their collaborations are so numerous that you can buy them in a 16 CD box set, if you even use CDs anymore. Number 102. Walt Disney Studios partnered with Pink for the music of Alice Through the Looking Glass. That's right, Pink. Pink wrote a completely original song for Alice Through the Looking Glass and called it one of the most exciting things she's ever done. Even more exciting than her aerial shows? Number 103. She also covers the iconic Jefferson Airplane song, White Rabbit, in one of the trailers for the movie. A version of the same song by Grace Potter and the Nocturnals was included on the soundtrack from the first film. Number 104. For inspiration for the song, Pink brought her daughter, Willow Sage, to a very early screening of the movie. Willow's reaction was asking her mom if they could watch it again. And there you have it, the critics are raving! Number 105. Pink wasn't the only one to look to small children for approval. Bobin also ran many aspects of the film by his kids, probably helped with a more family-friendly vibe. Number 106. Although Bobin also attributes Through the Looking Glass's lighter and more family-friendly tone to his comedy background. Don't worry though, there will definitely be some scary moments, and trippiness is ensured. Number 107. If you haven't seen the first, don't worry. Bobin says you don't need to see Alice in Wonderland to enjoy Alice Through the Looking Glass. But also, since we're at fact 107, we're impressed you've expressed this much curiosity at the new film without seeing the first. You should totally see it then. Thanks for watching 107 Facts You Should Know About Alice Through the Looking Glass. Are you planning on seeing the movie? Sound off in the comments. And if you liked this video, be sure to check out some of our other 107 Facts videos by clicking the annotations or links in the description. We have new videos dropping every week, so let us know what you want us to cover next. And if you like getting more from your movies and TV, subscribe to Cinematica, where we help you watch smarter.